Hello, Danvers. I'm John Call, and I'm the host of Community Connections. I'm joined today by two sisters who have created a nonprofit charity, Lisa Dana and Tina Morris. They've created Ladybug Love. Welcome, ladies.
Thank
you, John.
So tell us all about Ladybug Love. Now, this was something that you have done in memory of your mother, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And I assume she loved ladybugs?
Actually,
Not quite.
not exactly, but she passed away in 2005, so it's coming up on 20 years for us. And she died of lung cancer, and she was just 59 years old. So after she passed away, it was obviously really hard for us, and we have another sister, Susan. And so we started to see ladybugs everywhere. And so when we saw ladybugs, we would text each other or call each other and say, Mom came to visit.
Ah, gotcha.
So we had a strong connection to ladybugs. And then in 2014, our father also got ill he passed from lung cancer also. And at that time, he had his last day in the Care Dimensions Hospice House in Danvers. And our whole family had gathered there. We slept overnight. And so we have a really special place in our heart for that organization. And so we continued with our just looking at ladybugs, connecting back to our parents. And then during the pandemic, when everything shut down, Lisa actually brought up and said, you know, now that we have time to just kind of sit and think about like goals and things in life that we want to do, she had said that one of the things she would love to do was start a nonprofit. And so we started to talk more about it, kind of figure out what that would look like. And then we came up with the idea to call it Ladybug Love in memory of our mom. And that we tried to figure out, like, you know, what will be our mission of what can we contribute? And so we went back to our thought of our father's last couple days of being in the hospice house, and remembered that it was summer, but the air conditioner was on. It was really kind of chilly in there. And we thought, oh, blankets, like, you know, that may be our mission. So we went with that, and we decided our kind of slogan was going to be wrapping our community in love one blanket at a time. And
that's a good slogan.
Thanks. And that we started with actually giving to Care Dimensions as our first donation, and we've given to them multiple times. And then we also have spread it out through a lot of different organizations and tried to find new ways of giving blankets and just giving back to the community.
Nice. So you actually founded it in 2014?
2020.
2020.
We ended up founding
after the
it.
pandemic
Yes.
started, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yep. Yeah.
That's great. And you serve the entire North Shore,
Yes.
is that correct?
Yes.
So what kind of organizations, you mentioned Care Dimensions, what other organizations do you donate to? And is it a regular thing, or are you always picking new ones and going somewhere else?
It's both.
Yeah.
So Care Dimensions is our ongoing partnership for the last couple of years now to make yearly donations, and sometimes even more than once a year. And working with Care Dimensions, they now put a card in the blanket. So this
nice.
is the blanket here. It's a fleece blanket, but it keeps people warm.
Certainly.
And so that partnership with Care Dimensions is ongoing. And then we've tried to develop some other ongoing partnerships. We have the Family Resource Center in Lynn, and then Mission of Deeds is in Reading, but they serve all of the North Shore and working with social service agencies. So families that are getting started in an apartment, they have new blankets that they can take
nice.
with them. We do that every spring. Citizens Inn is another one. So we have some that are consistent, and then depending on contacts that we have, relationships that we're building, there may be other areas that we will reach out to and ask if they would like a donation. One of them, our Lynn Connection, and the blankets to, help me out on that one, We've given
Oh,
for
Lynn for Love.
Yes,
For Love.
Lynn for Love. Thank you. The Lynn for Love, and give blankets twice. It's a young woman that has put together donations at Christmas time. So we've been able to add our blankets to her donations a couple years that we've done that also.
The Plummer Youth House.
Thank you.
In Salem. We've donated several times to them. Unbelievable organization that we love to help out. They house male youth who, for whatever reason, need housing. We also have donated to Nagley, which I know you interviewed. I've seen that one. To just give the youth there a comfort blanket while they're hanging out. So we've tried to find different places on the North Shore. And like Lisa said, we have strong partnerships that we continue to donate to. And then when we hear about something else coming up, we will do our best to try and contribute also.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Do people find you, or are you finding people? So organizations, do they call you and say, hey, you know, we have a need? Or are you just hearing about something and saying, yeah, let's call them and see if we can help out?
Most times it's us hearing about an organization and reaching out to them. But now Care Dimensions has a relationship with us that they will reach out to us too and ask us if we have more blankets to donate to them. Yeah.
And like at Care Dimensions, does the family take the blanket home afterwards?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's nice.
Yes.
So,
Nice
and that's what we were
momentum.
saying.
Yeah, I
that
love the
Care
logo on it. Show the
Dimensions-
logo there.
Thanks.
Can we get a
Yeah.
close-up of this logo? That's a nice logo.
Thank you. My
Thank you.
son
Ladybug
actually
love, but it's
created
nice.
that logo for us.
we could
Yellow
add-
being our mom's favorite color.
This is her handwriting.
Ah, nice.
Yes.
There's a script that, and I think it's probably that time of when she grew up, that type of handwriting. So we were able to put that handwriting, the yellow, again, talking about relationships and connections. It's really family-based with friends. So her son being able to put this together for us.
Yeah, now you had mentioned your family helps out a lot, putting the packages together and stuff like that. So talk about that. Where do you get the blankets from? You obviously order them. You're not crocheting or embroidering those yourself.
Right. Yep.
We try to work with a lot of small businesses. So in our fundraising, we've been able to work with small businesses. For example, Rustic Marland and a wooden sign that says welcome and has a ladybug. We've also been able to do candles from Izzy Candles in Peabody. The blankets have been harder to do, more difficult with a smaller business. So we do use a national company. It's for Imprint. They also do have a small grant program. So $500 a year we were able to get to be able to put toward the blankets also. And by using a larger company in this way, we are able to get the cost down. So we try to get the cost as close to $11, $12, so we've been able to get as many blankets as possible that goes directly back out. So all of the funding that comes in is really going to the blankets or some type of item that, like the welcome sign, that would allow us to be able to purchase more blankets.
Gotcha. So speaking of blankets, how many have you given out in the past 5 years?
Over 1,200
Wow.
blankets, and that's really a couple times a year now. We hope to be able to really move forward with having maybe a monthly blanket donation or different times of the year that has a personal connection. So Mom's birthday is November, being able to do something in November. The hospice walk is September. The Citizens Inn, for example, in March is their linen drive for the month. So that's what we've been doing in March, be able to give to Citizens Inn.
Oh, that's great. So are you working towards something every month, a donation every month?
That would be wonderful.
Yeah, that would be great.
And again, a connection, some type of theme that would go along with a connection to our family.
Great. Now you mentioned the grant that you received from For Imprint or through their organization. How else do you get your funding?
Well, we'll start with, we have great family and friends who continuously support us in any of the different types of fundraisers that we do. They show up and they are very generous. And then if you want to talk more about a lot of the grants that you have been able to get for us.
Yes. The grant writing, it's just like sometimes it's hit or miss. The ones that we have had the most success with is the bank that we have our account.
Yep, the savings bank.
The savings bank in Wakefield, and that was a connection that Tina had from her business, and so we went there. They have a grant, a foundation, so we, the last 3 years, have received grant funding from them, so that's given us the stability. This past year, through some research, found an organization, the Gerondelis Foundation in Lynn, and our mom is from Lynn, and that's the only connection that we needed, was to have some connection to Lynn. And they gave us $5,000.
Wow.
When that check came in the mail, that was
an exciting
Quite
day
the
for us.
surprise,
exciting
yeah.
surprise, because
exactly.
that will really help us throughout the entire year, and to have that sum of money at one time allows us to order the blankets again in the bulk to
Right,
get
sure.
it down to the lowest cost that we
Right.
can. So we're excited now for the second half of 2025.
Yeah, promotional products, the more you order, the cheaper they become.
Exactly.
That's the way they work it, yeah.
Yeah. And you had also mentioned just kind of like how our family and friends pulled together for us. And so when we get an order of blankets, you know, sometimes we get like several hundred at a time, and they get delivered to one of our homes. And we have a cousin, Amy, a friend, Rita, our sister Susan, and we will get together and just have like pizza and wine, and all of us bag up these blankets and prep them and get them ready, put together different baskets for fundraising efforts. So we have just a great group of people who have been willing to jump in and put in their time and their money, and also we have people who reached out to us just randomly and now crochet and knit blankets for us also.
Now, are they crocheting full-size blankets like this, or?
Whatever they would like to do. Lisa, you can talk more about that because you've worked with her.
Thank you, Pauline. And that came about again through another connection that we got some advice from Melanie, that is the owner of Rustic Marlin, and her mom and dad live in the neighborhood, and again during the pandemic, walking through, met them, and she gave us some advice of about a newspaper article. So we did, and for the Peabody Linfield, Anne Marie Tobin, who covered our boys' sports all along, we reached out to her, and she did a story that was in the Lynn item and the Peabody weekly newspaper and the Linfield weekly newspaper. And from that, there were some connections. People read about it, they reached out. One of them, a woman, Pauline, that lives in Linfield, and she came over one day, helped us with the blankets, and now she crochets baby blankets for us with the Ladybug Love colors. So it's the red, the yellow, the black. We'd like to also expand by getting some books, right, to be able to cuddle up with a blanket and have a book with that. So slowly we've been doing that, but this latest grant that came in, that's going to allow us to add some books, especially when we do the baby blanket, to have a book with that blanket. So we do that. Some of the other, through that article, there was also a check that came in the mail, and sometimes they're small, and it was from the daughters, chapter 120 in Peabody. They read about it and wanted to use some of their funding, so they made a donation. My son works for a company, CDW, and they, at the end of the year, do a matching grant. So $250, we put it in, they match at $250. So all of those connections, and it's really, I think, is a way that we keep family and friends close to us also. Right. Through the Ladybug Love, and there's bracelets and all different things that are ladybugs, and some of the sayings behind them is when you see a ladybug, that it's a sign that everything will be all right. And we really think that's an important message, that in the times that we do see a ladybug, we're like, oh my goodness, there it is, and why is it in our house?
Right.
But
yeah,
it's going to be, everything's going to be okay.
Also comment that Lisa's daughter, Allison, is also a huge help for us, and she's a big part of the organization, and making sure she attends a lot of our fundraisers with us and helps organizing and does a lot of work with us too.
Hey, you just had a fundraiser in February, right? A paint party?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was a fun one. Yeah.
It was so exciting. It was the best fundraisers so far. Again, mostly our family and friends that came, and it was my husband's cousin, Leah Warren. She is an amazing artist, and she had a portrait already, and she's like, oh, I could do this, and we planned it, and it was wonderful.
Yeah,
those
it
are
was
great.
a fun night with friends and family. Yeah, and then back in November, we did our first time ever. We did just a random blanket drive, where people could we had an Amazon wish list of some types of blankets, but they could donate any type of blanket. And we had a great turnout for that too. So it wasn't these blankets, but they were just any type of blankets, warmer blankets, smaller blankets, baby blankets, whatever. People were willing to donate. And then we gave that to different other, out in the community also. So that was nice.
That's great. You should look into having that made as a sew-on patch. So that you can put them on any blankets that people donate to you, and that way your logo will always be on everything.
Yeah.
And and also when you talk about a book, don't forget self-publishing. So you can write the book and make it specific to your charity.
I actually have one. That's a children's book that is about Ladybug love.
Yeah, great.
That we are still in the works.
Self-publish that.
Yes, that is on our to-do list.
Yeah.
We try.
Exactly.
I'm sure it's a long to-do list too.
I
know.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
So, what are the next steps for you? So now you mentioned candles earlier, and I didn't catch the connection.
Yeah.
there.
So we try and find local companies that are willing to do fundraising type of activities. So there's she's out of Peabody, right?
Yes.
There's a woman in Peabody who owns Izzy Candle Company, and she took our logo and placed it on her candles. And then she sells it to you for a price, and then you charge, obviously more, so that way it's a fundraiser
Gotcha.
for you. So we did the same with Rustic Marlin, which is a company. It started off as a small company and has really grown, but that's down on the South Shore area. And they also do fundraising with signs, so we had our logo put on that with welcome, so people could hang it outside of their house. And so that was a nice fundraiser for us too. Yeah.
That's good. I like the homegrown fundraising approach, that it isn't this giant thing, but somebody that you're selling the signs to or the candles to or whatever.
Exactly.
Kind of a one-on-one where you can talk about your charity and what your mission is and what you're trying to accomplish individually with people, rather than can you just buy a candle?
Sure, exactly.
And then it's a win-win situation that the person, for example, the two examples Tina gave with Izzy Candle and Rustic Marland, then we've built relationships and connections with them. So we may see the Izzy Candles at the Higgins Craft Fair, and we get to say hello to her again. So we helped get her message out about being able to sell the candles. She helped us to get our message out.
Right. Do you do any craft fairs or any home shows or those type of things?
We did for maybe the first year, and had some success with it, but it's not something that seems to be where we're going to be able to sustain that piece of it. And we, for the most part, the candles have been all given out. They're Rustic Marlin signs. We don't have that many left at the moment. So we're always open to new types of fundraisers too, if anyone has any ideas. And that's where those connections too with our family and friends of sometimes just sitting down and talking about it, and another idea will come up.
That's great. So if anybody wants to help out, they need ideas for fundraisers, and how would they get in touch with you?
We have a Facebook and an Instagram. So for Ladybug Love, we also have our an email account. So ladybug20love@gmail.com. We are in the process of redoing website, so we have a Google site at the moment, and all that information. But probably Facebook and Instagram will be able to get you directly into, and then be able to see what we're doing.
That's great. So you need fundraising ideas. What else do you need?
I think sort of the donations or ideas of grant funders. that we may not know of. We seem to now have our ones that we can go back to, but there's other ones that are connections. So for example, my sister-in-law works at Eastern Bank. We were able to do a grant, a one-time grant there. So if there are any other banks that are interested.
You should hit every bank in town, in all the towns. Banks need to distribute money. That's part of their charter, is to give to charities and stuff. So almost every bank has their online grant the form that you fill out and send it in to them, and usually once a year they pick charities and give money. So it's an easy thing you can do sitting at home at night to fill out those forms, and just go to any bank's website, and I'm sure you'll be able to find good information about that.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
So like I said, what's next? What are your next steps?
Continue to bring in donations so that way we can get as many blankets out there as we possibly can.
How many blankets do you currently have in inventory that you would like to distribute?
I think we have about 100.
We have about
right
100,
now.
and we're getting ready to do that large order. So, and it takes 2 to 3 weeks to get our order in. So we're going to be ready by the end of July for that second half of this year to hopefully do a donation on a monthly basis. And then I think expand with Care Dimensions. Just recently they asked us to be on the planning committee for the hospice walk coming up at the end of September, and really looking at how we can expand that to have the blankets there on an ongoing basis.
Yep, that's great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
And we work with each agency to determine how many they need at one time, because obviously space availability is hard for some of them. But typically it's between 30 and 50 for each donation that we give. And then, like we said, then if they need more after that, they can always reach out to us, and we'd be willing to donate more as we continue to get them.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you're doing a great job, and I love the fact that you're spreading it all over the North Shore, and it's not just going to like hospice houses and Care Dimensions and people like that, but just people that may need a blanket, may need a hug, may need to be wrapped in love. That's all wonderful things. So, so thank you. Thanks for doing that.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
a pleasure.
thank you, John. Thanks for having us.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. Okay, Danvers and YouTubers all over the world. This has been a wonderful chat with a great organization. If you know of anything you can do to help, please reach out to them, whether it is a grant source or a grant opportunity, or you want to make a donation yourself, or you have ideas for fundraising opportunities. That's what they're looking for. So again, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.